Nothisha abanethulela izifundo zika-Grade 12 zonke izinsuku kusukela ngoMsombuluko kuze kube yiSonto. Zithokozeleni lezi zifundo, nisithumelele imibuzo lapho nidinga khona usizo.
Ngibingelela bonke abalaleli emakhaya kanye nabafundi. Okhulumayo uMiss Mazibuko, ofundisa iBusiness Studies. Namhlanje ngizolekelela abafundi in one of the topics esiyithola ku-paper 2 under business roles, and that is human rights, inclusivity, and environmental issues. Learners need to understand that in business studies we have 4 main topics. That is business environments, business ventures, business roles, and business operations. Abafundi abakhumbula ukuthi under these 4 main topics kunama subtopics angena futhi ngaphansi kwawo. For paper 1 umfundi akazi ukuthi uzobheka ku business environment and business operations. For paper 2 we've got business ventures and business roles. So it's very important ukuthi umfundi akwazi ukwa-classify amaphepha wakhe ukuthi ku paper 1 sithola mapha ama topics, ku paper 2 imaphi futhi ama topics esiwathola khona. Before we start with our lesson, ngizothanda ukuthi si-explain ama concepts lanka amathathu esiwathola kwi topic yethu. The first concept is human rights. Human rights are rights that everyone must enjoy by mere fact that they are human beings. Human rights are all the learners that are familiar with these human rights. And human rights swathola chapter 2 of the Constitution. Okumele umfundi akwazi ukuthi human rights, they are universal, meaning they apply to every citizen. Thina as abafundi be-business studies asizukufocasa kuwo wonke human rights which are stipulated in chapter 2 of the Constitution, but sizobheka lama human rights apply kuphi in the workplace. And layo human rights sithini sithi employer must ensure that he or she complies with them. The second concept is inclusivity. The term inclusivity is taken from the word include, meaning no one should be excluded because of their gender, age, race, language, or disability. Okusho in this case sithi akekho employee, akekho umsebenzi okufuneka azizwe engamkelekile in the workplace because of his or her gender, age, race, language, or disability. Sithi-ke futhi businesses can achieve inclusivity ngokwenza njani? Ngokuthi ba-promote equality, respect, and dignity in the workplace. The last concept in our topic, environmental issues. Environmental issues relate to preserving a clean or a safe and sustainable environment. The word preserve, when you preserve, kusho ukuthini lapho ugcina into isesimeni sayo. In other words, businesses need to ensure that they do not cause any harm to the environment during their production process. Aphele lapho-ke ama-concept wethu amathathu esiwathathela from i-topic yethu. Right now, we have to consult our examination guideline before siqala with our topic. Our examination guideline will assist us in identifying the content that must be taught or that will be assessed in this topic. The first bullet in our examination guideline, it says outline or name the following human rights in the workplace. Umfundi nje by just consulting his or her examination guideline, she is now familiar with the term outline or name. Okunye umfundi akufuneka kwazi masikhuluma nje ngale action verb ethi outline or name, usuyazi nje lapho ukuthi that is a low order question, and usually it is out of 1 mark. You get 1 mark for each point. And so I refer futhi as low hanging fruit ama questions of that nature. So umfundi akaqikelele ukuthi mayithi nje question outline or name, you do not have to put so much effort because 1 mark laphayana. So nje you just name and then you move on ngaphandle kokumosha isikhathi. Ngisho-ke masa explain ama concept wethu ukuthi thina asizukwabheka wonke ama human rights akhona, but sizobheka ama human rights lanka apply in the workplace. And must check futhi examination guideline yethu ama rights akumele siwenze. There are only 6. The first human rights in the workplace, it's privacy. The second one, it's respect or dignity. We've got equity, freedom of speech and expression. We have right to information, right to safety, security, and a protection of life. So now that umfundi useyakwazi outline lama right wo 6. Mfundi, you must also be able to identify the above mentioned rights from given scenarios. Ungagcini ngokwazi ukwalista outline ama rights wakho, grade 12 learner. You must also be able to identify these rights from given scenarios. Siyazi ukuthi in some questions, more especially in section B as well as C, unikeziwe laphayana ini i-scenario. Uyafunda ke mfundi laphayana i-scenario, and then usuyayisho i-right applicable oyibonayo laphayana in that particular sentence from the scenario. And then umfundi akakwazi futhi ukurecommenda. You must also be able to recommend ways in which businesses could deal with the above stated human rights. Uma sesirecommenda laphayana sesinjani, sesisho indlela that ama business angakwazi uku-addressa ngayo ini lama human rights lanka in the workplace. Ukuthi so addressa kanjani? Asichazela ukuthini? What do they imply? Sikhuluma nge-implication manje of human rights in the workplace. Siwa apply kanjani manje lama human rights in the workplace? That is bullet number 3 according to our examination guideline. So kuluma ngani ke manje nge-implication of human rights in the workplace. Okay, implication ka right number 1, right to privacy. When you talk of right to privacy, sithini ke manje? Sithi ama business, they should not violate the rights of employees and clients. Secondly, businesses should not provide personal information about employees to anyone. In this case, singasho ukuthi ke, say for instance employee uhambile wayo disclose HIV status sakhe kubani ku employer. Employee mayise kwenzile lokho, employer akakwazi ukudisclose such information to anyone. I-information efana naleyo must be kept confidential. Awukwazi ukudisclose personal information of employees in the workplace. Ma usuwenze njalo, usuyahamba ke wena as an employer udisclose information personal yama employees, uzobe usuwenze njani manje? You are now violating a right to privacy kabani ka employee. The second human rights in the workplace, we've got respect or dignity. Under respect or dignity, sithini, we say our businesses must treat all employees with respect or dignity regardless of their socio-economic status. Secondly, they should not force workers to do embarrassing or degrading work. In this case, khuluma ngokuthini ke manje, ama business, they should treat all their employees with respect. Kubalulekile kakhulu lokho. We've got rights to equity. Under right to equity sitting manje, businesses must give equal opportunities, not discriminate against their employees on the basis of gender, of race, of religion, or sexual orientation. I-right to equity ikhuluma ngokuthini ke manje? Sonke in the workplace, we must be entitled to what? To equal opportunities. We are all entitled to equal opportunities. Kufuneka sonke sinikezwe ama-opportunity anjani alinganayo. And businesses awakwazi ukwenza njani ukudiscriminate on basis of age, of race, of gender, or sexual orientation. Another point under equity sikhuluma ngokuthini ke? There should be equal pay for work of what? Of equal value. Okusho ukuthi in the workplace masenza umsebenzi onjani olinganayo noma ofanayo, asiholelwe phela futhi imali enjani elinganayo. Right number 4, it's right to freedom of speech and expression. Under right to freedom of speech and expression, we say businesses should not, businesses should allow open communication channels between management and employees. In this case, city management, it must be easily accessible. Asikwazi communicate with management thina singabobani singama employees. If you employee and I have a grievance or I have a concern, I must be able to raise such issues without any victimization in the workplace. I must be able to express myself in the workplace. I must be able to voice my opinion or any idea engaba nayo mina as an employee. And lapho ke sisuke sikhuluma ngani nge-right to freedom of speech and expression. I-rights elandelayo, human rights, it's a right to information. Mase sikhuluma ngo-right to information, sithini ke? Sithi ama-employees should be informed as any new information becomes available. If kunama changes, I'm making an example. Kunama changes laphana kuma labor laws. Kungaba futhi ama changes kuphi kuma work schedule, ngaba ama additions to ama policies. If there is such information, mina as an employee, I deserve to be what? To be informed of such information. So kubalulekile ke ukuthi amabhizinisi futhi nawo awakwazi ukwenza njani ucommunicate yonke information entsha to abasebenzi bakhona. And then businesses need to be transparent in their financial statements. Siyadeserve futhi ukwazi about performance yani ye company thina mhlambe as ama investors or ama stakeholders. So amabhizinisi kubalekile futhi ukuthi awabe transparent in their financial statements. Kumele sazi about i-performance yani ye company. So akumelanga laphayana bayifihle information regarding ama financial statements. So nje asikwazi ukwenza njani ukwathola sibone ukuthi i-company iperforma kanjani. The last human rights, we've got rights to safety, security, and protection of life. Under right to safety, security, and protection of life, sesithini ke sibheka ukuthi laphayana amabhizinisi awaqikelele ukuthi abasebenzi basebenza endaweni enjani ephephile. In cases where abasebenzi basebenza ngemshini dangerous, employer must ensure that it provides protective clothing to those employees. Aka-provide phela ama-safety gloves, akaba-provide with ama-footwears, ama-boots laphayana, omakarapa, in order to ensure i-safety kabani yama-employees. Okunye futhi, elinye point singakhuluma ngokuthi businesses need to comply with safety legislations such as COIDA. UCOIDA siyamthola ku paper 1 under legislations. Siyazi ukuthi laphayana if ama businesses comply with COIDA, okusho ukuthi ama employees wethu, they will receive a compensation in cases where they incur ama injuries on duty. Useyakwazi ukuthi u-employee enze njani akhokheleke. So it's very important ukuthi businesses need to comply with COIDA. Moving right along, again sesobuyela ke futhi manje ku examination guideline siyo-checker i-point elandelayo. So far we have touched on the human rights. We are now able to outline the human rights in the workplace. We have identified the above stated human rights from given scenarios. Learners must also be able to recommend ways in which businesses could deal with the above stated human rights. Esikhuluma ngokuthi manje implication ukuthi amabhizinisi awa-addressa kanjani ama-human rights. Now we have to move on to economic rights of employees in the workplace. Mase sikhuluma ngama-economic rights, umfundi akakwazi ukwenza njani ukwa-outline ama-economic rights in the workplace. Economic rights, number 1, we say equal pay for work of equal value. Okusho ukuthi masenza umsebenzi ofanayo olinganayo asiholelwe futhi nemali enjani elinganayo. Employees have a right to join or form trade unions. Siyawazi ama-trade unions maningi. We've got Yosatu, Nehawu, and Natu, and so on. Umfundi aga-understande la ukuthi employees anawo ini ama-rights ukuthi bazifomele ini i-trade union yabo noma bazijoyinele i-trade union of their choice. Akufuneke kuze kube u-employer ophoqa u-employee ukuthi akajoyine yiphi i-trade union. Akulunganga lokho. U-employee unayo i-right yokuzikhethela i-trade union of his or her choice. Right to participate in legal strike. Ama-employees futhi analo ilungelo lokuthi abahambe phela bayoba yingxenye yani yama-strikes lanka esiwabiza ngokuthi they are legal, ama-legal strike. They have rights to safe and healthy working conditions. They've got a right to reasonable limitation of what? Of working hours. Working hours are stipulated under a Basic Condition of Employment Act, esimthola ku legislations ku paper 1. Employees awazi ukuthi they've got a right to reasonable limitation of what? Of working hours. Aba understand ukuthi if besetshenziswa ini overtime abakhokhelwe imali yani overtime. And then abazi futhi abasebenzi ukuthi laphayana ku BCA siyalithola futhi point elikhuluma ukuthi workers may not work for more than 45 hours in any week. So abasebenzi abazi ukuthi futhi banayo i-right to reasonable limitation of what? Of working hours. Moving right along to social rights and economic rights. Under social rights and economic rights, learners must understand ways in which businesses could promote these rights in the workplace. Sesikhuluma ngobani ke manje? Ngo-social rights and nobani? No cultural rights. Si promote kanjani ke thina as businesses u-social rights nobani? No cultural rights. Siyakuthola futhi that point in our examination guideline. It says that states the social rights of employees in the workplace. Okusho ukuthi aswazi ama-social rights in the workplace. Siphinde futhi senze njani? We must be able to recommend ways in which businesses could promote social rights and cultural rights in the workplace. Asichekenike ukuthi how can businesses promote social rights in the workplace? This question ibiphumile ngo-November 2018. Yes, and ibithini suggest ways in which businesses could promote social rights in the workplace. For 8 marks. Umfundi ke useyazi laphayana ukuthi bekumele azibhalele any 4 points ukuthi how could businesses promote social rights in the workplace. Aphinde futhi umfundi aqikelele ukuthi she or he answers in full so that azothola u8 marks wakhe ophelele. Okay. Ways in which businesses could promote social rights in the workplace. Point number 1, businesses should ensure that employees have access to clean water or social security. The second point, encourage employees or provide opportunities for skills training or basic education. Amabhizinisi futhi improve ama-skills of our employees. Sikhumbuleke laphayana ukuthi masikhuluma ngo-social rights, ama-social rights are all about improving the standard of living of our employees. So it's very important for businesses to improve the skills of their employees. By simply improving the skills of their employees, akuzukbenefita ama-employees kuphela. But nathi as a business, siyabenefita ngokuthi by sending our employees for training. Thina as a business, sibenefita kanjani? Okokuqala nje, we will gain a competitive advantage over our competitors. Ngokuthi sitraine ama-employees wethu. Ama-employees wethu mase sibatrainile benze njani? Bazoba competent, bakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi ngendlela. So siyabenefita ke nathi as a business. At the same time, siphinde senze njani? Siyapromota social rights in the workplace. We also must register workers with UIF. Sibonile ke le UIF yenzeka due to COVID-19, bekune lockdown. No social activities took place during lockdown. So abantu sibabonile bebenefita ke njengamanje laphayana bethola UIF. Sayazi UIF ukuthi it stands for Unemployment Insurance Fund. Abantu retrenchiwe emsebenzini, kusho ukuthi u-employer manje akasakwazi ukubakhokhela la abantu, kwamele ukuthi enze njani? Abadilize. The time ebadiliza umuntu usumphelele umsebenzi, useyakwazi ukuthi ke manje mayengasasebenzi aclaim laphayana ku-UIF. So it's very important ukuthi futhi ama-employers awaregister ama-workers with UIF. The businesses must also encourage employees to participate in special events. Special events esingathi sikhuluma ngawo lana kungaba World AIDS Day. So kubalekile ke futhi ukuthi u-employer noma ama-business apromote ama-social rights in the workplace. So umfundi akakwazi ke ukwaname ama-social rights in the workplace. Angaphuma ku-section B, ngaphinde futhi siwathole kubani ku-section ngapha, angaphuma ku-section B noma aphume ku-section C. Ephepheni nje leli belibhala trial examination ngo-2020 ku-question 6 iphumile laphayana i-question bullet number 3 ibithini advise businesses on how to promote cultural rights in the workplace. Okubalekile nje mfundi ukuthi ubhale ama-sentences wakho uwabhale in full so that uzothola imark lakho elinjani? Eliphelele. Now we're going to move on to ways in which businesses could promote cultural rights in the workplace. Njengoba sengishilo nje ukuthi this question siyitholile ku-question 6 ephepheni trial examination bullet number 3 ku-essay. And then now mase siyidiscussa ke laphayana ukuthi si-addressa kanjani noma si-promote kanjani cultural rights in the workplace. Singasho ukuthi we can encourage our employees to participate in cultural activities. Encourage ama-employees wethu ukuthi participate ku-cultural activities. Okusho ukuthi nathi as a business, in that way we are in cultural rights. Nje sisuka kuSeptember, on the 24th of September, bekuyi-Heritage Day. Lapho u-employer anga-encourage ama-employees wakhe ukuthi bagqoke their traditional attires. Ngokwenze njalo nje usepromoter ama-cultural rights in the workplace. Bullet number 2, employ people from various cultural backgrounds. Siqashe futhi abantu abaqhamuka from various cultural background. Ngokwenze njalo employees promoter cultural rights. Employees should be trained on cultural tolerance. We also encourage employees to use their own language when interacting with one another during spare time. Ama-employees wethu siyawagqugquzela, siyawavumela futhi ukuthi communicate phela in their own languages. Ngaba i-lunch time, siba-encourage ukuthi abenze njani communicate or interact in their own languages. By so doing, as a business, we will be promoting cultural rights in the workplace. Okay, masisibuyela kwi-examination guideline, sesiyobheka-ke manje izinto esiyithintile with regards to human rights in the workplace. Okokuqala nje sibheke ama-human rights in the workplace. Sasho ukuthi umfundi ama-human rights akakwazi ukwaname, aphinde akwazi ukwa-identify from given scenarios. Umfundi must be able to do what? To recommend ways in which businesses could deal with human rights in the workplace. You must also be able to state economic rights, social rights, non-futhi, cultural rights. When we talk of cultural and social rights, sithini lapho sithi umfundi akakwazi ukurecommenda indlela that businesses could promote social as well as cultural rights. Before we move on to diversity, let us look at the implication of equality, respect, and dignity for businesses. Point number 1, businesses should treat all their employees equally regardless of their race, color, age, gender, or disability. Sithini-ke laphayana sikhuluma ngani nge-equal treatment of employees, ukuthi sonke we must be treated fairly in the workplace regardless of race, of age, of gender, and so on. And then all workers should have equal access to opportunities, positions, or resources. Okusho ukuthi if kunama promotions ebhizinisini sonke asikwazi ukwenza njani apply for that particular position, as long as that particular individual possesses the necessary skills and ability to do the job. And then businesses should also respond swiftly to incidents of discrimination or unfair treatment. Okusho ukuthi if kuno employee ongaphathekile kahle or ozizwa discriminated, ngaba on basis of age, of race, of gender, of skin color, employer kufuneke aqikelele ukuthi uyawa attend such incidents ngokukhulu ukushesha. Okay, now we have to move on to diversity. Yini ke umfundi okufuneke ayazi under diversity? Ku-4 kuphela esizokubheka laphayana ku-diversity. Umfundi waka grade 12 akakwazi phela elaborate on the meaning of diversity. Ngisakhuluma nje about that first bullet esilithola futhi ku-examination guideline. I-question iphumile ngo-September trial examination 2020. First bullet, elaborate on the meaning of diversity in the business. So as a grade 12 learner, you must be able to define what diversity is. You must be in a position of being able to explain the meaning of diversity. Umfundi akakwazi futhi ukwenza njani ukuname ama diversity issues. laphayana masinema ama-diversity issues ephepheni lango-June 2018 ibiphumile i-question efuna abafundi ukuthi abenze njani abawa-outline ama-diversity issues. Sikhulumile leyo yoku-outline ukuthi umfundi akenze sure ukuthi nje mawusanema uyalithola lelo maki njengoba linjalo. So with regards to the second bullet from our examination guideline, i-question ingasho ukuthi wa-outline, i-question futhi ingakhiphela i-scenario, and then from a scenario you must be able to identify these diversity issues from the given scenario. Bullet number 3, recommend ways in which businesses could deal with the above stated diversity issue. The last bullet, it says discuss the benefits of diversity in the workplace. So masisikhuluma nje ngo-diversity, the meaning of diversity, we say it refers to the variety of people employed based on age, race, gender, disability, personality, and so on. So njengamanje uma sesikhuluma nge-diversity, we talk about a variety. Okusho ukuthi nje i-keyword laphayana ku-diversity, it has to be variety, ukuthi sikhuluma ngezinto ezinjani ezahlukahlukene. So in this case mase siyibuyisa in the workplace, i-diversity sithini? Sithi businesses must employ a variety of people, okusho ukuthi uzoqasha abantu abanjani abahlukahlukene on the basis of age, of race, of disability, personality. Nakho sibheka ukuthi nje abantu esibaqashayo bahluke, bangahlukiswa yini ukuthi siqasha abantu abaneminyaka enjani eyahlukahlukene, siqasha different genders. We also cater for those people who are disabled, people with different personalities, and so on. So nje keyword yakho mfundi with regards to diversity, sikhuluma ngani? Nge-varieties. Qasha abantu abanjani? Abahlukahlukene. Businesses must employ people from different cultural backgrounds. Ngokwenze njalo nje sesithi we are a diversified workforce, because ibhizinisi okusho ukuthi iqasha abantu abaqhamuka from different cultural backgrounds. Okay. Aspect number 2, we've got diversity issues in the workplace. Umfundi must be in the position of being able to identify the diversity issues from the given scenario. You must also be able to name the diversity issues. Diversity issue number 1, it's poverty, inequality, race, gender, language, age, disability, religion or faith, and lastly we've got culture. Dealing with the diversity issues in the workplace. The first diversity issue ubani? Poverty. Sithini masichaza poverty? Sithi it is the state of being poor and not being able to satisfy the basic needs. So how can we address sidila kanjani ke with poverty in the workplace? Okokuqala, we have to train all employees so that they can be able to deal with retrenchment. So uma sesibatrainile ke ama-employees wethu sithini? Sithi bazokwazi ukudila nani? Ne-retrenchment. Badila kanjani with retrenchment? Sizobatraina, they acquire the necessary skills, okusho ukuthi u-employee mayisephelele umsebenzi uzokwazi ukusebenzisa lama skills awatholile in the workplace ukwenza njani? Ukuziqalela i-business lakhe. So in other words, lapha if we train our employees, okusho ukuthi siphinde futhi si-encourage noma si-encourage i-self-employment, ukuthi umuntu base simtrainile mayise-retrenchiwe uzokwazi phela ukuziqalela business lakhe ukuthi naye akwazi ukuziphilisa. We can also reward employees for service well rendered. Abantu abenze kahle, abasebenze kahle, abawenze kahle umsebenzi, siyaba-rewarda. We offer subsidized meal. Ma u-employer maye subsidize laphayana, ama-meals wama-employees. Okusho ukuthi u-employee uma esayithenga leya meal uzobe seyithenga at a reasonable price, because kusho ukuthi u-employer has met u-employee halfway, wangenelela. U-employee uma esethenga that subsidized meal uzobe seyithenga at a reasonable price, because izobe isisubsidiziwe leyo meal leyo. We supply free uniforms to employees for what? For safety purposes. We can also ensure that the prices of products are affordable for the identified consumer market. So, sisadila nayo nje issue ye-poverty. Se-ensure ukuthi, seqikelela ukuthi ama-products wethu that we are offering in our business siwadayisa at a reasonable price, so that most of our people aim ukuthi sibadayisela this particular product bayakwazi ukwenza njani, bayakwazi ukuyi-afforda. And then we move on to the next or to the second diversity issue. Sekubani manje? Seku-inequality. When we talk of inequality sikhuluma ngokuthini? Ukungalingani. Senze njani-ke, sidila kanjani nale diversity issue? Implement equal opportunity policies when appointing new staff. Masikhuluma nge-equal opportunity policies, sikhuluma ngani? Nge-principle that everyone can have access to employment opportunities. Okusho ukuthi nje siya-avoida nje i-discrimination laphayana kubani? Inequality. We also implement an employment equity plan for businesses. Equal opportunities should be considered when promoting staff. Okusho ukuthi all the employees deserve equal opportunities. They deserve equal employment opportunities. Makunama positions nje amasha, mhlawumbe kunama promotions in the workplace, akumele se discriminate on the basis of skin color, of age, of gender, but si promote wonke u-employee onjani odeservayo. And then another diversity issue, it's race. Masikhuluma nge-race, sithini-ke laphayana, we need to implement affirmative action policies as required by law. Masikhuluma ngo-affirmative action policies, sikhuluma ngaleya policy that was introduced by the government in order to redress the imbalances of the past. Siya-understand sonke ukuthi kudala with certain jobs for females, kunemisebenzi yabantu besilisa, kwakunemisebenzi ekuthiwa laphayana loyana nje umuntu wesifazane akakwazi ukwenza. So affirmative action uzolungisa wonke lawo ma-imbalances ayenzeka kudala. Njengamanje it's no longer the case. Ingakho nje sikwazi ukubona abantu besifazane ba-owner ini big companies. Uyamthola nje umuntu wesifazane e-driver ini i-truck enkulu. Imisebenzi le kudala kwakuthiwa eyabantu besilisa. Njengamanje lokho akusa-apply. Sonke sinjani? We are entitled to equal employment opportunities. As long as unayo ability, unayo ama-skills okwenza that particular job, you must be given an opportunity to do so. Under race, siphinde sikhuluma ngokuthi no discrimination should be made based on skin color. Awusekho manje umsebenzi onganye kuwuthole based on skin color sakho. Sonke nje we must be given umsebenzi lowo as long as unjani unawo ama-skills okwenza umsebenzi. When appointments are made, previously disadvantaged people should get preferential treatment. Okusho ukuthi makwenziwa nje ama-appointments and businesses, kufuneka siconsider kakhulu laba bantu labayana ababecindezelekile kudala. Sikhuluma ngani? Those people who are physically challenged. Asibanikeze manje ini ama-employment opportunities. Asibanikeze futhi ini ama-managerial positions. Aba-own nabo ini businesses. Nabantu abanjani? Abantu besifazane, black people. Njengamanje they should be given ini a preferential treatment makwenziwa ini ama-employments. And then businesses must also comply with Employment Equity Act. Employment Equity Act siyamazi singabafundi be-business studies ukhuluma ngani nge-equal treatment, and then sibe no triple BEE when appointing people. U-triple BEE yena u-aim ekwenze njani? Promoting blacks for managerial positions. But developer ini ama-skills in order to promote ini i-ownership. Sikhuluma ngani futhi awarding tenders, nakhona futhi sa-encourage ini i-ownership. So businesses need to comply with those acts in order to deal with a diversity issue ekubani eku-race. Sibe no gender. Under gender as a diversity issue sidila kanjani ke nayo? Sithi males and females should be offered equal employment opportunities. Employment opportunities, they shouldn't be based on gender. Must promote nje abantu noma siyaqasha, as we need to cater for both gender. Ngaba yini ama males, ngaba yini ngaba ama females, siyabaqasha bonke laba abantu labayani. Business directors should promote both men and women in managerial position. Ababe promoted ama females, ababe promoted futhi nani nama males kuphi kuma managerial positions. Singa consider only males cha, but we also cater for women in managerial position. New appointments should be based on skills and abilities. Must appoint abantu asibheki ubulili, but si-appointa loya muntu loyana esithini unawo ini ama-skills, unayo futhi ne-ability to perform a particular job. Women should be employed to comply with Employment Equity Act. Siphinde futhi siqashe ini abantu besifazane njengoba bese sikhulumile njengalela point elikhuluma ngani nge-managerial position. Njengamanje nje siyabona abantu abesifazane benze njani they are owning big companies, they are in high managerial position. Ama-business mayenze njalo asuke enze njani? They are complying with Employment Equity Act. Sibe no language as a diversity issue. Mase sikhuluma ngo language, sidila kanjani ke thina no language in the workplace? Sithi kanjena ke njengamanje, no worker should feel excluded in the meeting conducted in only one language. Akekho umsebenzi okufuneka azizwe engayona ingxenye yani ye-meeting because i-meeting is only conducted in one language. Kunalokho ibhizinisi lingenza njani? Lingaqasha i-interpreter. Interpreter izoqikelela ukuthi wonke umuntu who participated or who attended a particular meeting uya-understanda konke okushiwo kuphi kwe-meeting. Provide training in the official language of what? Of the business. Izo zonke indlela lezo ibhizinisi elingayisebenzisa ukuthi sidile nani ne-diversity issue, and that was language. We now have to move on to age. When we talk of age, sithini, promotions should not be linked to age, but rather to a specific set of skills. Age laphayana asikwazi ukuthi sipromote abantu based on iminyaka yabo. Sinobaba Dlamini here una 38 years, sibe nobani, sibe noZanele oneminyaka engaki ewu-25. In this case, laba bantu bobabili baya apply, they are applying for a promotion. Baba Dlamini nobani noZanele. Akusho ukuthi ibhizinisi ifuneke li-assume ukuthi no asithatheni ubaba Dlamini just because unjani he is old. But kufuneke kuthathwe bani between uZanele nobaba Dlamini, aqashwe umuntu onjani, the one who possesses the necessary skills to perform the particular job. Nalona futhi onani onawo ini ama-abilities wokwenza umsebenzi lo azobe enjani applyele. Ama-promotions akumele abe based on ini i-gender, but amabhizinisi angasebenzisa umnyaka to their advantage, to its advantage. Bakwenza kanjani ke lokho? amabhizinisi anga-encourage ama-senior employees laba sebebadala emsebenzini ukuthi bagrume or badevelophe ama-employees lanka asakhula anjani amancane afika emsebenzini. Baphinde futhi amabhizinisi a-advise ini aba-young employees ukuthi abahloniphe phela and bafunde kulaba abadala emsebenzini abenza kahle. A business may not employ children aged 15 or younger. Businesses awakwazi ukuthi futhi aqashe izingane ezingakanani ena-15 years or engaphansi kwa-15. Ileyo futhi indlela engasetshenziswa ibhizinisi ukuthi idile nani naleya diversity issue, which is age. The business should encourage employees to be sensitive to different perspectives of various age group. Another diversity issue that we've identified is disability, physically challenged, or people living with disability. Business should provide opportunities for people who are physically challenged. Amabhizinisi awaqikelela ukuthi futhi bayabaqasha nalaba basebenzi abanjani aba-physically challenged. They should also be considered when appointments are made. Bayalideserve nabo ini i-opportunity yokuthi basebenze. Njengoba sesishilo ukuthi masisakhuluma laphayana ngo-raise, sishilo sathi businesses need to comply nobani, or they need to implement affirmative action. Sasho ukuthi affirmative action ukhonela ukuzo-correcta ama-imbalances of the past. Njengamanje mase sithinta u-disability, siyasho ukuthi nalaba bantu labayana who are physically challenged, they deserve any employment opportunities. Sithi-ke futhi mase sibaqashile as a business, siba-accommodate ngokuthi sibenze njani, siba-provide ama-facilities. Ngaba yini ama-ramps for those abakuma-wheelchairs la abazokhona ukuthi bahambe kahle ngama-wheelchairs wabo, siba-providela ini ama-facilities. And then we also ensure that we train businesses. Businesses must be well informed on how to deal with these people who are physically challenged. Asazi phela ukuthi sibaphatha kanjani, sidila nabo kanjani. Kungagcini futhi ngokuthi amabhizinisi azi ukuthi kanjani kumele baphatheke kanjani in the workplace. We also train ama-colleagues ukuthi azodila kanjani-ke manje with these people who are physically challenged. Employees should be trained on how to deal with colleagues with disabilities. Okusho ukuthi ibhizinisi alazi ukuthi lidila kanjani nalaba bantu laba, siphinde futhi siyo-traina ini ama-employees ukuthi sidila kanjani, sibaphatha kanjani labantu laba aba-physically challenged. We ensure that employees with disabilities are treated fairly. Siphinde futhi senze sure ukuthi bazizwa nabo bewamkelekile in the workplace, they are treated fairly. Businesses should bring in external experts to help disabilities and accommodation issues. Okay, the last diversity issue, sinani sino religion and culture. Under religion and culture, sibheka ini-ke manje, city businesses must be sensitive to special requests from different cultural groups, e.g., allow day off for cultural holidays or festivals. Okusho ukuthi siyabavumela-ke manje ama-employees wethu ukuthi ba-observe ini their religious holiday. Businesses should also acknowledge and respect cultural differences of employees. And akumele-ke futhi amabhizinisi enze njani aphoqa abasebenzi ukuthi benze umsebenzi onjani or against i-religion yabo. That's how a business can deal with religion or culture in the workplace. Okay, now we have to look at the last aspect under diversity. Njengoba sishilo ukuthi ku-diversity okubalulekile, it's for you as a learner to understand the meaning. You must be able to elaborate the meaning of diversity. You must be able to identify diversity issues in the workplace. awu-9 ama-diversity issues okumele uwazi. Umfundi akabe kwi-position yokuthi uyakwazi ukwenza njani uku-outliner in case i-question ithini outline any diversity issue. Aphinde futhi umfundi akwazi ukwenza njani ukuyi-identify from i-scenario i-diversity issue. And then aphinde azi umfundi ukuthi sidila kanjani-ke with diversity issues in the workplace, njengoba bese sichazile konke lokho. Now we have to look at the benefits of diversity in the workplace. We had such question ngo-2018 in June. Ebifuna umfundi discuss ama-benefits of diversity issues in the workplace. Thina-ke as a diversified workforce sibenefitha kanjani? Mase sikhuluma nge-benefit sikhuluma ngani? Ngokuthi imuphi-ke manje umthelelo omuhle thina esiwutholayo as a business or as a diversified workforce. Okokuqala nje, i-diversity in the workplace izo-improve i-motivation. Our employees will be motivated because we are a diversified workforce. Businesses with a diverse workforce are more likely to have a good public image. We will have a good public image and also attract more customers. Attract ama customers amaningi because sinjani we are a diversified workforce. Sinama employees aqhamuka from different groups, from different cultural backgrounds. Therefore nathi ama customers wethu azoba njani? Azoba maningi. We attract more customers. Uma attract more customers, sekumele kwande i-profitability in the workplace. Siya increase the profitability yethu. Uma increase the profitability yethu, we are more likely to achieve our goal as a business. Employees from different backgrounds can bring different perspective to the business. Sizoba nendlela nje ezintsha zokwenza izinto because nabantu bethu baqhamuka from different backgrounds, ama-employees wethu. A diversified workforce stimulates debate on new and improved ways of getting things done. Sibe naleliana futhi elikhuluma ngokuthi employees represent various groups and are therefore better able to recognize customer needs and satisfy customers. Njengamanje sithi ama-employees wethu, they are from different groups. Sikhulumile masithi sishilo laphana masachaza u-diversity ukuthi simchaza ngokuthini u-diversity. Sithi sikhuluma ngabantu abanjani abaqhamuka from different ngaba cultural backgrounds, ukuthi labantu laba they have a different cultures. Angethi sibaqashile-ke thina bayini bangama-employees wethu, okusho ukuthi bazokwazi futhi uku-identify izidingo zani zama-customers wethu ezahlukahlukene. Ngalokho sekusho ukuthini thina sizokwazi ukwenza njani ukusatisfya izidingo zama-customers wethu accordingly. Lokho futhi sekuyasibenefitha thina as a what? As a business. Sesiyakwazi ukuthi sithole i-profits enjani improve. We are going to be able to improve our profitability because siyakwazi ukuthi senze njani provide what is demanded by ama customers wethu. Lokho provide accordingly, provide lokho okufunwa yini ama customers wethu. Diversified workforce can give a business competitive advantage as they can render better services. Well, we'll also be able to gain a competitive advantage over our competitors because thina siyakwazi ukuthi si-identify iy'dingo ezahlukahlukene from different customers and then we cater for those customers, ba-provide lokhu abakudingayo. Ngakho-ke sesiyakwazi ukuthi si-improve i-profit yebhizinisi yethu. Maku-improve i-profit kufuneka kwenzakaleni lapho siyakwazi ukureacha i-goal yani yebhizinisi lethu. Okay, siyivala lapho-ke under u-diversity. Bafundi Muvela to environmental issues manje. Njengoba sesiqedile ngo-diversity, sekumele siqale ubani u-environmental issues. Laphayana ku-environmental issues, sishilo masaqala with our lesson, sisa-unpack ama-concepts. Sasho sathi masesikhuluma ngo-environmental issues, these issues, they relate to preserving a clean or a safe environment. So, ikuphi-ke umfundi, imaphi ama-outcomes ekumele siwakhave under environmental issues? Okokuqala nje, umfundi akakwazi phela ukudiscussa, uku-outliner, or uku-explainer ama-roles of health and safety representatives in protecting the workplace environment. Secondly, grade 12 learner, you must be able to explain the responsibility of workers in promoting human health and safety in the workplace. You must also be able to explain the responsibilities of employers in promoting human health and safety in the workplace. Lastly, you must be able to recommend or suggest strategies or ways in which businesses could protect the environment and promote human health in the workplace. And ilesson yethu iphela kanjalo, and siqeda laphayana kubani, siqeda kuma environmental issues.
Siyanibonga ngokufunda nathi. Siyanimema ukuthi nithamele futhi nakusasa. Ningazithola lezi zifundo ekhasini lethu lika Facebook elithi Go Digital SA Foundation na ku YouTube elithi Go Digital SA Foundation. Ziyatholakala na ku Khosi FM njalo ngoLwesine kusukela ngo-9 kuya ku-10 ebusuku. Ningasithola nango WhatsApp kwinamba yethu ethi 068 151